Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another live edition of Wednesday Night OWCP Chats.
I'm Gini, and this is Chris.
And nobody's on watching yet, so we're being goofy.
Okay, so we're going to just wait a few minutes for some people to hop on. In the meantime, share. It's a really good topic. As you guys all know, I always share topics that is being requested and when the phone calls come in. So,
hi JoJo.
Let me
and JJ. JoJo and JJ, what's up?
Let me go ahead and start sharing myself. Oh, maybe I should get onto the right page. So don't forget, share. Let me turn my volume down on my phone.
JJ. You should have seen me before we started. Hey, Ron. Marianne, hi.
Yeah, you do the same.
Rebecca,
hi.
hello.
Let me get it shared out to a few groups that
hey,
want
Michelle.
me to share it. And then at the end, I will go ahead and share more. But I need you guys to go ahead and...
Yeah, are you people sharing? Share. Yeah, just go to your Facebook page at the bottom there and hit the share button. Be sure people know. Hi, Kim. Maureen, hello. Jennifer's watching. Hey, Jennifer.
There's a few people that messaged me this morning
hey,
and
Tammy.
asked if I could share it to the page. So I'm gonna share WNAFGE. So notice our shirts. Can you go ahead and swipe that?
Yeah, but then I can't see their... All right, I'm not going to see your stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay, there's people on. This is getting better. Everyone share. Like and follow this page. You're here anyway, so it's not that hard. You're already here. Hit the like and follow button if you haven't done that. And that way you can be notified when we go live, and you don't have to remember it.
Louisiana.
Hey.
Do you know if OWCP time counts towards retirement years?
No. Not that I don't know, but no, it doesn't count.
Chris, Tammy said she needs her makeup done.
Yeah, I saw it. You're a
Okay.
funny girl, Tammy. Don't worry, I can handle it too.
So I also wanted to welcome a new group.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
That added us on Workers' Compensation Stories.
Yeah, on
so
Facebook.
I was going through their Facebook page, and I started seeing so many people ask the questions that you guys that are already on here ask.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this in a bad way when I say they're clueless.
Well, we all learn.
They just
like
don't
at the pace
know.
we learn. Yeah, you're all here to learn it too.
And there's somebody on there that does a podcast, and
which is awesome.
Like I told them, if they want us to be on their podcast, we're welcome to share. And somebody wanted to know about, that we're really not real, and our book is just trying to make money off of you federal employees. And understand this, it's not about making money. Yes, everybody makes money somehow. It's not about making money. The book is actually to help you guys help other people and to understand it in fourth grade terms, because it's so hard when management doesn't help, or maybe some unions don't help, or no one understands.
Yeah.
So it's just completely a book for education.
With that said, this is not, for those of you that are new here, this is not a live training meant to try to get you to sell or buy books.
Right.
We happen to have a book. It happens to be very helpful. The hundreds of people that have gotten it already have all given it good reviews because it gets to the point and solves problems. So we happen to have the book, but this is not about selling the book. For example, tonight we're going to talk about CA-16s. I'm going to teach you things you didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And that's why you're here. You're here to learn. We do this every week for free. No strings attached. We won't ask anything from you in return except for to share with your friends and to follow this.
Yeah, and the reason why we do that is, of course, Gizmo, the reason why we do that is we can't get to everybody while we're doing the live sometime.
Yeah.
So go ahead and share. And for the regular folks that are just like my friends, family, Chris's friends and family and stuff like that, you guys all know a federal employee. your mailman.
Tell somebody.
Number one, maybe your spouse or family member works for TSA. So we help all and every federal agency, every single one of them.
Yeah.
So tell someone, get the book if you want. We're not forcing you to. It's really educational. But tonight, we are going to cover the CA-16.
Yeah.
A lot of you still don't understand how to get one, where to get one, why it's so important. So if you have the book, you can go to the book and on what chapter?
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
It's early on in the book because it's that important.
And follow along on the CA-16. We're going to pull some information out of there. And so if you are looking for the book, I'll pin the comment below, just right there, right there, right there. Go to www.breakingowcp.com. The book is $14.95.
Free shipping. It looks like this.
Free shipping.
Look how small that is.
Yeah.
Everyone's reading it in an evening. It doesn't take long. To comprehend the contents of it may take longer. Maybe you have to go over some of it more than once. But the whole point of this was it to be easy because OWCP is hard. And why is it called Breaking OWCP? Because OWCP breaks you when you're hurt.
Yeah.
And we just, we see it all the time. We heard just more stories about it this week. People that are just having really tough times with this. So anyways, if you have the book, a lot of what I'm talking about will be in chapter 4. So you'll hear that tonight. Also, this is going to really help you. It's going to be hard for you to see this.
Go closer.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah.
All right. So if you go to breakingowcp.com, I also put some forms on there. There are free downloads. I wanted you to be able to have access to it. Just this week, we had somebody that said, my supervisor won't give me a CA-16. What do I do? And I said, well, go to the website, breakingowcp.com, and go to the free downloads tab and download the request for Form CA-16 document. This is something that I created. It's not an official OWCP form. And why would it be? Because if you have it, then you're going to have access to money, to pay for your medical care. But your supervisors don't want to give it to you because they think they don't have to. And so what this does is it's a request to the supervisor and giving them the actual rules from the Code of Federal Regulations. That's really important because I'm tired of you not getting your CA-16s. Like I said in the book in Chapter 4, when you don't get a CA-16, you're making health care decisions based on finances, and it should never have to be that way. You didn't plan on getting hurt, and so likely you don't have money available for co-pays, co-insurance, and deductibles. God forbid you need a deductible for something like MRIs and surgeries and all that.
Right.
So you're not prepared to pay that stuff, and if you have a CA-16, then OWCP pays your bills for 60 days following the injury, and you never have to pay that back. So if your supervisor doesn't give it to you, you're stuck paying co-pays from your health insurance, which is not what we want you to do. So on this form, let me just talk about a little bit about it. What I put on here are things that will help you get your way with your supervisor. Your name, your date of injury, and your date of request. So why is that important? You have to request a CA-16 within 7 days of your injury if you have a CA-1 injury that happened in a single shift. If you don't report your injury within 7 days, you're not eligible, right? So what we want you to do is put your date of injury and then put your date of request. They should be the same day, right? And the time of request is going to be really important too. The next thing is your supervisor's name. We want to know who you requested it from. And then make a copy. Once this is all filled out, make a copy and give a copy to your supervisor. You keep a copy. Because the next line says the date and time the CA-16 was issued or denied. If they tell you no, you can't have a CA-16, then use this to file a grievance. Okay? If they don't give it to you in time, use this to file a grievance. But what you're doing is putting them on notice that you know the rules. The rules are here, and now they know the rules, and you need to get your CA-16 form. Because the rule states that you should get your form within 4 hours of the request. 4 hours. So we put the time on here that you requested it and the time that it was issued to make sure it's within 4 hours. So everybody go to breakingowcp.com and get this form. And the other ones too. I have some other free forms there. But get specifically, and especially, get the request for Form CA-16. Because when you need a CA-16, you need to get it now, right away. Because you may have to go to the hospital right away or to an urgent care right away. You want to go find a treating doctor right away. Well, if you have a CA-16, they don't or shouldn't take money from you, and that's really important.
Okay, so I shared it to a few more places. You guys shared. I want to answer. Rebecca, you said you bought the book and you want to know how you can ask questions if you're not on the chat. Well, right now you're on the chat, so you could ask your question. And if you can't watch it and you have to watch the replay, it's fine. You can go ahead and ask your question there, or you can message us.
Yeah.
And myself, Emmy, Chris, or Jennifer, or Tom will answer the question for you personally.
Yeah. You can ask anytime and we'll get to it.
Yeah, so if you guys don't want to ask personal questions on here, it's okay. But if there's a question that you have, I'm sure all the people that are on here have the same question and don't know and would love to hear your question. Chris's t-shirt, that's the name of the book. It's www.breakingowcp.com for the book. I'm going to go ahead and pin that right now. My shirt is, it says Union Solidarity.
Red for Feds.
Yeah, Red for Feds. We got this from Local 558 for the VA, for AFGE. We went and we were helping them rally, and Tish, the VA state president for Florida, gave us the shirts, and every once in a while you'll see us post our shirts, Red for Feds, to support AFGE's Red for Feds. So with that said, tonight we're going to cover the CA-16, how to get one, where to get one, and when you're not getting one, what you need to do. Again, if you have, can you grab me the book? If you have the Breaking OWCP book, it's chapter 4. So you could follow along in here. So let me...
Well, don't follow along. I'm not going to read from the book. That'll put everyone to sleep. But the information that I'm going to discuss is certainly in the book, in chapter 4.
Tony, I'm going to answer a few of the questions, and then we're going to get into it and then help you guys out with the things you're asking. Tony Stewart, you want to know, what if only part of your claim is accepted and you're stuck with a $20,000 worth of bills, a regular carrier rear-ended on the job? Well, if you were rear-ended in the last 3 years, let me know and I could help you get with attorney Eric Blowers that does federal personal injury. And what do they do if their claim is accepted for part of it?
Yeah, so if you have the book, this is chapter 12 in the book. Nobody knows this. It's so interesting that, many of you, like carriers, you drive for a living and you don't know this one rule. If you get injured in the course of driving, so you're in an auto accident, that's a CA-1 injury, where you are eligible for a CA-16 because it was a CA-1 claim. And what the rule says in OWCP is that you're required to pursue the third party. In other words, you're required to go after and collect money from the person who hit you. So that's a personal injury claim, right? We all know about getting in car wrecks and maybe needing lawyers when you're hurt. Well, that's what this is. The problem is you get the wrong lawyer, they don't understand OWCP. So what you want to do is get an OWCP lawyer and let them guide you through the personal injury process. But if you're injured driving on the job, then you are required to sue the third party. But here's the good news. On top of getting the medical care you need, right, because OWCP will cover it, you're also entitled to 20% of the settlement after the expenses are taken out. 20% is cash, okay? And that's the very least you should get for being in a car wreck while at work. So if you still have medical bills, the lawyer can help you with that.
Yeah.
But if you have an OWCP claim number, the doctors should be able to bill OWCP for your, for the services they provided you. You should not be paying any money out of your pocket ever. You have a claim number, okay? Let them bill OWCP. If they're not getting paid, then they have problems that they need to solve, but it's not your problem to solve. And for any of you that have situations like this, tell your doctor to call me, and my company will help them resolve their bills so that they don't try to take money from you.
Yep.
That's just one of the services we'll provide, and it's free to you. The doctor's going to pay for it, but the doctors pay for billing. That's the way that goes. We know how to do it, but you shouldn't have to pay. So if anybody fits that description, like you, and you have these supposed medical bills you're responsible for, the doctor should be able to collect those themselves.
Yeah, and if any of you need to contact attorney Eric Blowers, after our live,
He's a
I'll
good
go
guy.
ahead and link the information, and you can just give him a call.
Yeah, Eric is an OWCP lawyer. He's a former federal employee himself, so he really understands what you're going through, and he knows exactly how to handle this.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're not a referral service. That's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
From time to time, you'll hear us say, call Eric, or don't. Okay, go to Google and just search for OWCP lawyers. Find whatever lawyer you want. Right. We're just making a recommendation. You're not obligated to take it. If you hear us talking about doctors, you're not obligated to go to any doctors that we talk about. You can go to Google and find your own doctor. We recommend that because the rules state you get to choose your own doctor. So if we mention this stuff, it's not we're making referrals. We're not a referral service. I would not be interested in that anyways, but if you ever ask, I'll always have a recommendation.
Jerry SF said, dealing with OWCP is a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the great information. We're always willing to help, Jerry.
Yeah.
Christine said, how do I get forms if I don't get them to me when I ask? Also, I was referred to go to a chiropractor, and they told me they will not pay for it.
That's not true. Okay, so you get the forms from management, and they're required to give it to you. Have your union file a grievance. There are certain forms, if they don't give it to you, you should be contacting OSHA. Like if they don't let you report your injury, that could be a safety problem for you. You might want to contact EEO because maybe you were hurt and they're not treating you fairly. But you have things that you can do to get your way. But the law requires them to give you the forms, so that's how you get it. What was the second part of that? Chiropractor. Yeah, so what they say is that chiropractors can't help you, which is totally false. The Code of Federal Regulations says that chiropractors can do all their chiropractic stuff on you. They can't be your treating physician. It has to be an MD or a DO. Most people don't know what that is. It's an MD, basically. But a chiropractor can also do physical therapy. So they can do adjustments in physical therapy. They can do x-rays. So there's a lot that a chiropractor can do. And if you go to a chiropractor's office, most of the time these days there's a medical doctor in the office as well. Mm-hmm. It's called medical integration. And there are whole companies out there, and what they do is put chiros and MDs together. So just because a chiropractor's office is where you're going doesn't mean there's not an MD there. MDs like to work in chiropractor's office because that's less overhead for them.
Yeah, and sometimes they don't know that they could do this. So if there's a chiro out there that says, no, I can't do this, please give them our phone number, and we maybe can integrate them into a Federal Injury Center's franchise.
And train them.
Yeah. So that's another step. That way you have somebody that you trust already that you can go to.
Yeah.
Raymond said, I need help with what I believe is an occupational disease. I would be willing to go to one of the Massachusetts office. What would you recommend I do to get something set up, and how long do you think it will take for me to be seen?
Well, you can be seen pretty much right away. And just give us a call, 877-787-6927.
Actually, Raymond, Emmy, our case manager
Emmy's on.
for Massachusetts is on there. Emmy, if you could put your phone number, and please contact Raymond tomorrow, either through Facebook, and get his phone number, and you guys get connected. And I'm sure you could be seen this week. Next week. I mean, patients don't call us and we tell them be seeing next week. Most of our offices, we see you the next day or that week.
And for free, always.
Yeah.
We never take money from anybody under any circumstance, ever, no matter what. Everything is free. As sure as you hear my voice right now, you can count on the fact that everything is free, always, no matter what.
Yeah.
Let me talk about the CA16, okay? And we'll answer more questions afterwards.
Yes. So those of you that are just hopping on, the new folks, we are talking about how to request a CA16 on a CA1 injury only. You cannot use a CA16 for a CA2 injury, only on a CA1 injury, and he will explain. Also, in the Breaking OWCP book, it explains all of this that we're going to go over. It's on chapter 4, the end.
Yeah, so that was a good point. CA16, you're only eligible if it's a CA1 claim. A CA1 claim is something that happens in a single shift, like spraining your ankle, breaking a bone, feeling a pop in your back, being bit by a dog, which we heard another story about that this week. Happens all the time. Those are CA1 claims. Incidentally, the dog bite thing, if you know who the dog's owner is, then you have a third-party claim you can pursue. You will sue their homeowner's insurance, or the lawyer will, and you still get 20% of that settlement as well after expenses. So if you get bit by a dog, it's a good idea if you can find out who the owner is. All right, it's in your interest. Most people don't know that. You're delivering the mail. Some people 30 years and don't know that they can sue the homeowner for the dog. So I think you should.
Just go through third party.
And OWCP wants you to. There's a question
Yeah.
on the CA1 form that says, "Is this a third party claim?"
Yeah.
Well, it's a third party claim if you know who the owner of the dog is. Anyways, with that said, let's say you have one of those CA1 conditions that happen in a single shift. You're eligible for a CA16 if you report your injury within 7 days of the injury. But if you know us and you follow us, you know that as soon as possible means now. So you should report your injuries right away, like as soon as it happens, right now. And in doing so, you can request a CA16. You shouldn't have to request it, but the supervisor is not going to willingly give it to you, and so you need to do that. Again, go to my website, breakingowcp.com, and there's a tab that says free downloads.
I put that on there too, guys. I pinned it down below.
So go to the free downloads tab, and there's 4 documents there, but the one we're talking about tonight is the request for Form CA16. Download that form and fill it out. Keep a copy for yourself, okay? Because, like I said earlier, if they don't give it to you, you can file a grievance and use this as documentation. If they give it to you late, you may still be able to file a grievance if you want to. But what it's really doing is it's putting them on notice that there's a rule in the Code of Federal Regulations that governs this. They don't get to say no, and it tells them that. So you give them this form. You're not being threatened. You're not threatening them. You're not doing anything that would cause them to want to retaliate. It's nothing like that. You're just saying, look, I like a CA16. And nobody's ever seen these forms. It's not an official form. I created it myself. But I made it after seeing thousands of people not get their CA16s and thinking, gosh, we have to do something about it. And so let's try it out. And when you try it and you get your 16, give me some feedback. Let me know what happens. And let me know if you don't get your 16 and tell me what you did about it, right? Did you file a grievance? What happened next? But you are eligible for a CA16. And they have 4 hours to give it to you. And it's so important because some of these injuries require you to go to the hospital. And you need your 16 right away because you need to give it to the hospital staff, to the billing staff, and the doctor has to fill stuff out on it. So get your 16s. The value of a CA16 is it pays all of your medical bills, therapy bills, MRI bills, and even emergency surgeries on a CA1 claim. It pays all those bills. I used to say it pays all your bills, and somebody said, even my car payment? Okay, no, not your car payment. But it pays all your health-related bills related to the injury. And so that's really important because if not, they're going to ask for your health insurance, which means co-pays, co-insurance, and deductibles. And that's not fair to you. And even though later on, if your claim gets accepted, you can get that money back, why do that? Because with a 16, even if your claim is never accepted, you don't have to pay the money back.
Yeah.
So get that form, go to breakingowcp.com and download the free form. And be sure your friends know about this too. If you know anybody that's hurt, tell them, hey, get this form. It's really important that you do that for yourself and you get your CA16s. And from there, you get help. Go find whatever doctor you want to go to who takes OWCP and give them your CA16 form. And that's what they use as documentation for billing. That's how they get paid, so you don't have to pay them.
So, explain to them, you guys all know, we say this all the time, you don't only have 7 days to get a CA1. You have 3 years.
3 years.
What happens when they filed and it's been that 3-year mark with a CA16?
Well, you can't. No, if you wait to report your injury any more than 7 days, you can't have a CA16. But what happens is supervisors tell you that you have 3 days to report, or 48 hours, or 24 hours, or 3 weeks. We hear all kinds of crazy crap, okay? 30 days, 45 days. The truth is you have 3 years to report your injury and still be able to get medical attention. Some people say, well, gosh, what do I need it 3 years later for? Well, okay, let's say that you used your health insurance and you had surgery and you went through therapy and you got all better. Well, 3 years later, you realize that you could still report, and by doing so and getting your claim accepted, you have an opportunity to go and get all the money back you paid out of your pocket. So there's value in that for you, even if you don't need to see the doctor anymore, and I hope you don't. After 3 years, I hope you're better. But it gives you a chance to go back and get your money back, your time back. If you're off work and use sick and annual leave or something like that, you have an opportunity to get stuff back. If you had to drive to get to the doctor, you have an opportunity to go and get the mileage reimbursed. So there are benefits to reporting your injury even if it's late. And don't let anybody tell you that it's too late, because usually it's not. You have 3 years to report injuries.
Yeah.
And that's in the book too, along with special rules that go with this. For me, I don't tell you anything that I don't back up by showing you the law or a rule from OWCP. And so everything that I tell you has a rule, law, regulation, something like that to back it up, and all of that stuff is in the book.
So on this form, so you guys see it, whoops, that we have it downloaded, go ahead and read that. It has the CFR code.
Yeah.
A lot of you are asking the question.
Which one it is? So the code is 20, the number 20, CFR, which stands for Code of Federal Regulations.
And this is if the supervisor refuses to give you the CA-16.
Right. Well, the rule is dictating how CA-16s are given out. And so 20 CFR 10.300. 10.300. And specifically here, we're looking at letters A and B of this rule. So 20 CFR 10.300, A and B. And it says that when an employee sustains a work-related traumatic injury, which is a CA1, that requires medical examination, medical treatment, or both, the employer shall authorize such exam and or treatment by issuing a Form CA-16. It doesn't say the employer might or may, or if the employer feels like it or understands it. Okay, there's no situation where you don't get your 16. It says shall. And letter B says the employer shall issue Form CA-16 within 4 hours of the claimed injury. So when you report your injury, they have 4 hours to give it to you. So they're on the clock.
Yep.
And you need your form, because your form pays your bills. And if you have to pay your bills out of your pocket, you're going to start making bad decisions on your health. And then it's hard to get back to work, and people end up on disability, or they end up fired, or just quitting. All kinds of just terrible things happen, and it could have been prevented just by getting a 16. So don't allow your supervisors to deny you a 16. And even if after you show the rules they refuse to give it to you, go to your union, and hopefully they'll fight for you. I know AFGE will.
Yes.
For sure.
And NALC.
NALC will for sure. APWU, the mail handlers, we work with them. We know that they're going to file grievances on your behalf or help you with it.
Each union has their own standard
and their own
way
procedures,
for filing a grievance, so go to your union first.
Yeah, and then have them help you. But here's the rules. I want my CA-16. If you want to know what a 16 looks like, you can go to our other website, federalinjurycenters.com. It's centers with an S. And there's a OWCP Forms tab, and you can find a CA-16 there.
Yeah.
It's outdated because they don't put these online anymore, but they may still be using that version for all I know. But take a look at it. Don't let anybody tell you can't have your 16, because you can.
Tracy Lee, you want to know about if you have an FMLA, can you use it twice a month? That's what my supervisor told me. I have an autoimmune disorder and fibromyalgia. Aww,
yes,
I have the same thing.
You have 120 days a year that you can use FMLA to take care of yourself or a loved one.
Yes.
And you can use that at any interval. You can take 1 day here and a day there, 2 days here, 2 days there, until 120 days in a calendar year is run out.
Yeah, some doctors will put, 3 times a month, or some jobs will say, 3-4 times a month, however many times. And this is going to protect you and your job.
And don't forget to call your, an 800 number to call in if you're going to be out.
Yes. Everybody has this 800 number. I mean, we're talking about USPS. So when you're off for your work injury or filing FMLA and you need to use it,
for any reason,
make sure you call and document that you called.
Yep.
Okay.
We know somebody that was put at AWOL because they didn't make the phone calls.
Yes.
The union president was able to save them and get it fixed up, but what if he wasn't able to?
Yeah, just remember, try to save yourself, because your union and your stewards and everybody are going to say, you should have known. When some of you really don't know, you should have known that you should have called in. So we're telling you, call in when you have an injury and you can't make it to work.
Protect yourself.
Yeah. Rebecca said, I got my CA1 form right away.
Good.
Claim accepted finally after fighting for 4 months.
Nice. Well, 4 months that's a short period of time compared to some people that are fighting years, but thank God. I'm glad you got yours accepted.
Okay, so Rebecca, you said, I got my CA1 filled out, accepted after fighting 4 months, never got a CA16 form filled out, and seeing a surgeon on Thursday next week. Now what?
Well, your claim's accepted, right?
So you shouldn't have to worry.
So you're good. I mean, the surgeon's going to bill OWCP. You shouldn't have to pay anything out of your pocket. So you should be all set. But not getting a CA16 is not acceptable. I'm sorry you didn't get one, but everyone else now, you have to know. Don't let that happen. You know the rules now because I just told them to you. And you know you can go to my website and get that form to help you get the CA16. You know, and if there's anything else I think of that I can put on there, I'm going to put other things on there too. Because, you know, they're nice tools. We have an employee statement, which you should definitely get if you have an injury. We have a form to help you document time at the doctor's office or therapy so you can get paid on your CA17 or CA7s. And so we have the 16 form, the employee statement. Oh, and we have a form for change of treating doctor. Mm-hmm. Now, none of these are official forms. I created them, okay? But this is a confusing, you know, system, and these things are complicated. And so I tried to help you out. So these are just forms to help you through some sticky processes.
Yeah. And don't forget, when you have a CA16, it's good for 60 days.
That's right.
So it pays all your bills for 60 days. And in that 60
Unless
days...
your claim's approved before 60 days.
Yeah, and once your claim is approved, your CA16 doesn't matter anymore.
That's right.
So remember that.
But goodness, if you have it, at least you don't have to worry about it for 60 days. So for the first 2 months, you're getting all the treatment you need to get better, and it's not coming out of your pocket.
And this is why we push you to push your supervisors to get a CA16.
Yep.
Only on a CA1 injury.
That's right.
Kelly said, I did not get a CA16. Case was just accepted after 47 days, but I have had no treatment due to that. Oh.
Well, yeah, well, go to the doctor. Your case is accepted, and have them do whatever treatment's necessary. I'm sorry you didn't get treated already. That's terrible.
Yeah. Rosa Guzman, what do I do when I went from working limited duty to no duty per doctor's note to get paid? What do I do? Send to OWCP to get paid?
So you need to fill out a CA7, claim for compensation. You may need a 7A as well. These forms, again, are at federalinjurycenters.com. Fill them out and attach documentation. Now, I talked about this in the book as well, and I'm going to go to that chapter to tell you what documentation, as if I don't really have it memorized, but I want to go find it in the chapter anyways. Chapter 8. So when you turn in your CA7s, you have to attach other documentation with it. Otherwise, they're going to deny payment. And so you'll be waiting on a check, and instead you'll get a denial letter. Okay? So number one, turn them in every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. There's 2 pages to it. The second one is for the supervisor. Make sure that gets filled out as well. But you have to attach documentation, so keep copies of everything as well. And what you're going to attach, and you can find this in the book as well, a copy of the CA17 where the doctor took you off of work. It's got the doctor's signature on it. Put a copy with your CA7. That's the duty status report, the 17. So attach that. Then the doctor has to write what's called a disability narrative. It can be 1 paragraph, okay? But the doctor has to explain why you're off of work. The 17 is not enough. It just says that you are off of work. So have a doctor fill out or write up a disability narrative explaining why you're off of work.
Right.
The third thing is a form called a CA20. That's another form that the doctor has to fill out and sign. And then the fourth thing is attach documentation for when you're out of work and you're going to the doctor.
Yeah.
And I have a form for that on my website, breakingowcp.com, because your doctors don't have this stuff, and so you can take it in and have the doctor fill it out for you. So you got to attach those 4 things and then turn it in every 2 weeks.
If you attach that, they shouldn't give you a hard time, because when we've told people after they've been denied and we've told them to attach that stuff, their claims examiner's like, whoa, okay, yeah. I have to pay them.
Yeah, and then sometimes they still won't and they'll deny it, but then they'll send a letter in the mail. You got to take that letter and read and find out why it was denied and then fix it, okay? Every denial can be overturned.
Yeah.
So don't feel like there's no hope. Just fix it. Read the denial letter and fix it.
Patrice, you said you've been calling for the last 2 months. I haven't received a response. Please let me know who you've been calling so we can help you with this.
Yeah.
I had 2 rotator cuff repairs done. I have a permanent restriction of 40 pounds. So let us know. Jennifer or Emmy can reach out to you if you give them your phone number through our messenger, and we'll figure out how we can help you with that.
And sometimes you're going to get a call back from a funny area code and not answer it, like me. I do it all the time. So be sure you check your voicemails. I'm not saying that happened to you, but sometimes it does happen. Happens to me all the time.
Tish, you see my shirt?
What's up, Tish?
On the back of it.
Yeah, Red for Feds, yeah.
Red for Feds, local 558. That's what Tish gave us. And she said, hashtag AFGE.
That's right. We love you.
Rebecca said, how is work comp going to change with this new PMG in place? Says he's going to try to rush people back to work. Oh, your new postmaster.
Yeah, well, I mean, postmasters can't rush you back to work. That's not how things go. Your doctor sends you to work. It's a medical decision. So postmasters can't rush you back to work.
Yeah.
They have to follow doctor's orders. Now, look, I firmly believe that the best thing for you is to get back as soon as physically possible, because you are going to have some hurdles to jump over. It's hard to get paid with a CA7. Sometimes they deny it. The surest way to get paid is to be on the clock, to clock in. So try to get back to work. And another thing, when your doctor sends you to work, your 17 says you can work with restrictions, don't stay home. Okay, they're going to fire you for that, and then they'll have a right to fire you for that because you didn't follow doctor's orders, and they're going to say, well, you didn't want to work. So when your doctor writes a 17 sending you to work, you have to go.
Yeah. And when you call that 800 number to tell them that you're out of work, you will get a confirmation number.
Yeah, write that down.
So please save that.
Yep.
Rosa said, I filled both out. Make sure you filled all 4 of those forms to file your CA7s when submitting them.
The CA17, the disability narrative from the doctor, the CA20, and the documentation showing proof that you're at the doctor or therapy or wherever.
Yeah. Mike Wilson said, what happens if an employee misses an oral appeal? The Department of Labor considered that a abandonment of an appeal and said the employee has to go to Washington, D.C. for the hearing board. My question is, the employee can the employee do a reconsideration? Sorry, off topic.
Yep. You know what?
Abandoning. Okay.
Yeah, missing timelines is a real bad deal. I talk about that in the book too. When you miss these deadlines, sometimes that's the end of the road. In this case, maybe not, but I would definitely have the employee write a letter explaining why they missed it to the claims examiner, and call the claims examiner as well. Okay, write the letter. Call the claims examiner and ask for a new appeal request form and see if they'll give them an opportunity to do a reconsideration.
Yeah,
so
sometimes
claims examiners can do it.
Yeah, they can.
Otherwise, you're stuck going to that hearing.
Yeah, be careful that you guys don't miss the deadlines on this. Read it. You have 12 months.
Yeah.
So catch it within 12 months. Don't.
That's only on a reconsideration, but.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Try not to miss your deadlines.
Kelly says, when a claim is accepted as a medical care benefits care, can you explain this? Caseworker says probably not going to get an accepted CA7 though.
Well, okay. The caseworker doesn't really have a clue. I mean, they think they do, but you don't know if you're going to get your CA7 accepted. What that means is you've been approved for medical, like you get to get treatment, right? But until the doctor proves that you need to be off of work, and maybe you don't, right? Then you won't get paid. It's like I just said, on your CA7 form, you have to attach all that documentation. Well, if your doctor can't write a disability narrative explaining why you're off of work, then you're not going to be off of work or get paid. So what they do, and this happens all the time, they have approved it for treatment. They never just instantly approve it for being paid for time off, because they don't just assume you'll be out of work. Sometimes you go back to work.
Yeah. Shauna, you said, I have 3 bulging discs, sciatic nerve, arthritis in my right side of my lower back. I've been getting shots every 3 months. I can't pick up over 10 pounds because it shoots down my leg up in my back. Am I eligible for a CA16?
No. It sounds like you're not. You only get a CA16 if you report a CA1 injury that happened in a single shift within 7 days of the injury. It sounds to me that you've been dealing with this for a little while, and it's well past 7 days, unfortunately. However, the stuff you're dealing with, I definitely understand what you're going through, because who's had worse back pain than me?
Me.
Okay, maybe her.
I just got injections
Yeah,
today,
just this morning.
and I'm so tight and stiff. I've been put on bed duty for 24 hours.
Yeah. And I had it once where I literally couldn't get up and walk 5 feet to the bathroom. It was terrible. It was so horrible. But there was treatment that made me better. And when your claim's approved for the right diagnosis, you can get that treatment. So I don't know what your situation is based on what you just said, but I sure wouldn't try to live with that. That's just terrible. I wouldn't try to live with it.
Yeah, and what Raymond said about creating an e-comp,
Yeah.
Definitely create one. So you can upload your forms if you want, and it also gives you a what's the number that it gives once you
It's called
upload it?
It's called a DCN, a document control number. And it tells you the date and time you uploaded something, and then you write down that number as well.
Yeah, keep it, because if your claims examiner says they didn't receive anything, you can say, well, I have a DCN number, and here's the confirmation.
And then you give it to them, and then they'll go find it.
Yeah.
And it's easy. Just Google eComp. It's the first thing that comes up on Google, and go in and make an account.
Yeah, so any of these forms that we talk about, you can Google it and go on your own
OWCP site.
OWCP
It's
site.
our first day doing work
I know.
on it. Sorry.
It's the injection. I'm losing it today. You can go on any of your sites, any of your union sites or ours, or...
You can go to OWCP's website.
There's so many websites you can find
to find the forms.
Yeah.
We just put them on ours because what I was seeing, and a lot of people were complaining, that they would go to the OWCP forms page, click on the PDF document, and it would never open. And like, I have a pretty good computer, and I couldn't get it to open. And so what we did is we just found somebody that could print them out and made our own PDFs of them, and they're on our website, and they always open.
Yeah. Kelly, you said, I read sprain. Accepted is really not a good thing, right? Does this sound right?
Well, okay. Let me look at it from two ways. Number one way is if your diagnosis is truly a sprain, it's going to heal, or strain. It's going to heal. You're not going to need surgery, and it's going to get better, right? The other side of that is if you have a much worse diagnosis, your injury is way worse than a strain, but your diagnosis is a strain, then you're not going to be off of work. They're not going to pay you to be off of work. You won't get the treatment you need. You won't get surgeries that you need. Like, you'll definitely come up short in treatment. And so your doctor needs to be sure they get the right diagnosis approved for your claim.
Yeah.
I prefer you to have a strain so you can get better and get back to work like that. But if it's not one, make sure the doctor gets the right diagnosis.
See, what Mr. Lyman is saying, from experience, I can state as a fact that sprain is as disastrous as a diagnosis. 18 months awaiting surgery.
Yeah. So what happens is when they diagnose you with a strain or a sprain, but it's something, say, like a herniation or some sort of a disc or a ligament tear or something like that, right? Well, your doctor has got to go back and write a report called a diagnosis expansion report and prove to them why you need a higher level diagnosis. Maybe you go get an MRI and show that you have herniation or torn ligaments or who knows what, right? Mm-hmm. Well, now your MRI can be used to prove that you have a worse diagnosis, and your doctor should be able to get that new diagnosis approved, and which will unlock all this other methods of treatment, surgery, whatever else. But you're never getting a surgery on a sprain or a strain, that's for sure. And your supervisors and case managers are going to want to put you back to work, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which would be ideal if it was really a sprain, right?
Tressa, you said you want to know how long it takes to get a schedule award. So I'll have Chris answer that. But next week on our OWCP chats, we're going to go in depth about schedule award and MMI, because you guys always ask about that. And I know we didn't catch a lot of you the last time because of the virus and you guys doing your thing. So we're going to go over schedule award and MMI next Wednesday night.
Yeah, and between now and then, I would encourage you to go ahead and get the book. It's chapter 13 in the book, Schedule Awards. And I tell you some stuff in there that, honestly, there's no way you're ever going to know, like how they calculate the award, right? It would be helpful to know how they calculate it. People are always saying, well, why is my impairment rating percentage so low? Well, if you understand the calculation, that's not really a question, right? And if you understand how they calculate it, you can also check your doctor's work and make sure they gave you the right percentage. So there's a lot of reasons why you want to know that stuff. But the question was, how long does it take to get a schedule award? Is that correct? So the short answer is when your doctor says you're at MMI, he gives you an impairment rating, or she gives you an impairment rating. You attach that to a CA7, and you turn it in for a schedule award. Once they receive it, there's no time frame. You're at the mercy of the claims examiner. So you want to call, right? Every day if that's what it takes, and ask what the status is.
Yes. And
what other questions?
all right. So Rosa said, I'm supposed to have surgery, but I'm too scared to have it. Can they make me have surgery? How will this affect my job, and will I lose pay? So no, they can't make you get surgery. I've had lots of surgeries and I don't really like them. But they can't make you do it. But you have to understand that at some point, if you can't do your job,
there's going to be a consequence to that as well. You don't often hear about agencies giving permanent restrictions, right? So, you'll start getting encouraged to file disability and those things, and that's not ideal either. But it is a personal decision. They can't make you do it. That is 100% sure. But sometimes the surgery is what gets you back, that helps you get to retirement.
Yeah.
And but that is a personal decision.
And also, there's so many other options now that you may want to try, like stem cell or PRP. Chris got PRP, stem cell in his arm maybe like a year and a half ago, and he's fine. But everybody's different, and it's not surgical. You're fine the very next day,
and
even in the next hour or two.
And we're not doctors, and we don't make recommendations for treatment. We're not licensed to do that. So,
but it's an option.
Explore it yourself.
Yeah. Look it up and see. What other questions do you guys have on CA16s?
Yeah, if you have any CA16 questions, hold your schedule award questions to next week.
Yeah.
Because the whole hour will be on schedule awards. It will be enlightening. Tell your friends. Definitely share this so that they know to come here next week. It's relevant, If you get hurt at work and you're eligible for a schedule award, there's money that comes next. So I want you to have all the facts on that. Go to breakingowcp.com and get the book. It's $14.95. You can do a PDF download of it or order a paperback copy that I'll mail to you. And I always mail it the next afternoon, so if you order it tonight, it'll be in the mail tomorrow.
Yes.
And get there as fast as the post office can get it there, which I think is generally pretty good pace these days. It was backed up for a heck of a long time during this middle of this virus thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's moving better now.
Don Woodruff said, "Love PRP. It worked well. Great."
Yeah.
Like
and
I
you
said,
can have that in OWCP.
Yeah, you can.
If you're injured and your claim's accepted and it's the right diagnosis, like not a sprain, it's definitely not a sprain. But if the diagnosis is appropriate, Department of Labor, OWCP will pay for stem cell injections and PRP. So
it's an option.
I think they're just finding out that people heal faster.
Yeah, if it's an option for those of you that are scared to have surgery and don't want the 3 to 6 months downtime, it's a great option. But you're down for a day.
Like stem cell is not an overnight. Like you're not going to be cured overnight. But and a lot of people it works. But again, we should not be in the business of making medical recommendations. But explore it, Google it.
Rosa, when do you file for a schedule award? So next week we're going to go ahead and discuss that, but we'll go ahead and give you the short version.
You don't file for a schedule award until your doctor says you're at maximum medical improvement, and that's what triggers everything. You don't get to just decide one day you want one. Okay, you have to be as good as you're ever going to get. MMI.
Tracy said, "I didn't want to have surgery, but the pain was unbearable. I was begging for it."
I hear that. Oh man, I definitely hear that. I had a series of injections, nerve root injections in my lumbar. Under anesthesia. My doctor, she said, "We have to put you under anesthesia, Chris, because if not, you're going to hate me for the rest of your life," because it was going to be really painful. The needles were going to be at the nerves, I guess. So I had 3 of those over, a 6-month period. And the last one I had was 2 years ago? It just worked. Thank God. Otherwise, I would have had surgery.
I had local numbing this morning, and I felt it even with the numbing. That's why I'm in delirious mode. Christina said, "My diagnosis was a lower lumbar strain. I'm doing light duty only because my postmaster said that I have to work because they will not pay me to sit at home since my doctor said I can do light duty desk work."
Yeah.
She got in more trouble for sending me home the first 2 days. I will get paid for those days, right? Yeah,
but you'll have to fill out a CA7 and file LWOP because you were sent home.
Hello, there's a bunch of you hopping on, just so that you guys know, and when you watch the replay, we are talking about how to get a CA16, when to get a CA16, where to find CA16s.
And how to keep your supervisor from denying it.
Tressa said, "What's the maximum days you can be on OWCP?" Oh, that varies.
I mean, we know people that have been on it for years.
I remember 2 years ago, a guy called me from Spring Hill, Florida. He is 89 years old, and he was a letter carrier. And can you believe his claim was open from 1980
Mm-hmm.
till now for physical therapy, and that's all he wanted. So that goes to show your claim can continue to keep going.
OWCP,
Yeah.
it's said that you have lifetime medical benefits. So the real question is, how long can you be out of work? Don't try to be out of work for very long. Depends on your craft. 1 year, 2 years will be your max. The goal for you should be to get back full duty, because your retirement benefits are pretty great. I'd like you to make it all the way there.
You guys are lucky, all federal employees. Raymond says, why is it that there's language that the CA-16 must be provided within 4 hours, but then there's also a language about 48 hours? What's the reasoning on the differences in hours?
Well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know what 48-hour language you're talking about. The Code of Federal Regulations makes it clear that they have 4 hours to give it to you as long as you as long as you report your injury within 7 days. I've been doing this a very long time, and I don't know any rules that are 48-hour rules.
Yeah, if you have that
Yeah, send it to
rule
me.
or something,
I'll teach
send
it.
us a link on my Facebook Messenger or Wednesday Night Chats Messenger. We'd like to see it and kind of look into it, because maybe there's something new.
In the 3 years that I've been doing this, I've been stumped once or twice. I don't think you're going to get one on me tonight.
You've been doing it more than 3 years.
Oh. Well, anyways, no, that we've been teaching this online.
Oh, but in the 20 years that he's been doing OWCP stuff.
I used to be a total dummy, but I learned everything. I'm just talking about in the last 3 years since we've been doing this. So I don't think you're going to get me on this one, but I'd like to see it. Whatever you're looking at, you'd be doing me a big favor if you sent it over.
Yeah, because the CFR code we were reading,
It says within 4 hours. Letter
Yeah.
B says 4 hours.
and that's coming from the Code of Federal Regulation laws. So, yeah. Yeah, Ron Jackson said no, it's 4 hours. So, I want to make sure you guys understand there is USPS workers on here, and there is AFGE workers, VA, prison, TSA, Social Security, what else? The base.
Yeah.
All those guys are also watching too.
Yeah.
So when
And ladies.
USPS folks are saying ABC, not all the time it goes for AFGE's ABC for USPS.
Yeah,
So
there
it's
are going to be
different.
differences,
Yeah.
but the OWCP rules never change. They're the same regardless of what agency you work for.
Kelly said, my diagnosis was cervical with limited strength in the left arm and hand. Why did they only accept sprain? I still struggled with the strength in ROM.
Yeah, the reason they only accepted sprain or strain is because your doctor's narrative report made them only do a strain or a sprain. If there's a greater diagnosis, meaning a worse diagnosis, your doctor's got to be able to explain that in great detail in their narrative reports. That's like the whole ballgame in OWCP, doctors being able to write beautiful narratives. And, that's what we do. We teach doctors to do this stuff, and that way, you go to one of our doctors, you don't have these problems. Sometimes you do. I mean, in fact, no, we get sprains accepted all the time, but then we go do diagnosis expansion reports and get the new stuff added. But that's the deal. You got to go back to your doctor and have them add the more severe diagnoses that exist there.
Yeah. So Raymond, you said I filed a grievance and I came across it in one of the manuals. So if you can, screenshot it and send it to us, we'd love to read it.
Yeah, and show me what manual it is. I'd like to read the whole manual.
And let us know what union you're with. And Tish, as a AFGE VA state president for Florida, she's even clarifying it and saying it's 4 hours, not 48 hours.
Let me look. There may be something in an agency handbook that is instructing supervisors or you something about 2 days. I'd like to know what that says. Like I said, you'd be doing me a huge favor if you'd send me a copy of it. I'd really appreciate it.
Rosa said, can you please private message me the 4 things on getting paid? Yes, I will do that after. I will actually attach it with Attorney Eric Blowers' information, so I'll do it in one post so everybody could see it.
And 2 weeks from now, I'll go ahead and do a CA7 training as well. So next week, we're going to do schedule awards. The week after, we'll do CA7s, and we'll talk about this in detail.
Carol said, with the new Postmaster General saying to get injured workers postal, either back to job or gone, what can we do to save our jobs if we are not ready to go on our regular position? Yeah,
well, you need to follow all the rules, follow your doctor's CA17, make an effort to get back to work even with restrictions. I would not make an effort to stay home, honestly. I wouldn't. I would try to work. And again, it's actually better for you because the surest way to get paid is to be on the clock.
Even a desk job.
Anything you can do, try to get back, because when you clock in, they have to pay you. When you're out of work, you have to prove why you're out of work. But you don't have to prove why you're on the clock. It's just easier for you. So just try. That's the best thing I can tell you. Otherwise, make sure you've got a CA-17 at all times that you're out of work. Be sure you use your Family Medical Leave Act.
Yeah, FMLA.
And get your claims accepted. Because when your claim is not accepted, you don't have these protections. You've got to get your claim accepted. It's so important. And, that's one of the reasons I call the book Breaking OWCP. When your claim is not accepted, and most people's aren't,
it breaks you.
It breaks your life. It's just absolutely horrible. And so you got to get your claim accepted. That's going to be the most important thing. Then have 17s, use FMLA, and get back to work as soon as humanly possible.
Rosa, you said rural carriers have 2 years from when DOI
Right.
to save our routes.
Yeah, exactly. You can be out of work 2 years, but try not to do that. Try to get back to work.
Yeah, and Tish, you said light duty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. She's exactly right.
I mean, if you can't, where you have a broken foot or you're just like on your deathbed a little because of your injury for the very first, and then when they offer you a position, I mean, we've heard, I think somebody said last week or the week before, they gave, you went from delivering mail to being a janitor. It's up to you if that's what you want to do just to keep your job saved, but...
Hey, we know a janitor that made it to postmaster.
Yeah.
Incidentally, we're not saying
Oh,
anything
yeah,
else
that's
about
funny.
that. That's all I have to say about that.
Carol says, sorry, need to clarify. I'm on the clock in the click office, limited duty. Had to give up route because it's been over 2 years.
Yeah, that's the deal. It's over 2 years you didn't make it back to your job. And that's a rural carrier. That's exactly right. We hear when we were doing live trainings at rural carrier conventions, we heard it all the time. And that's why I just tell people, you got to do your best to get back. And I know it's not always easy. Just try. Make every effort.
She also said the position I'm doing, the clerks grieve, so I'm in limbo.
Yeah, the clerks don't want you doing their job. I understand. You don't probably want them doing your job either. But ultimately, you're kind of all in it together. And although you're in different unions, you're all employees of the same agency. So I hope your clerk friends will take it easy on you.
So with that said for tonight, don't forget when you watch the replay or you're seeing it for the first time, we went over CA-16s, where to get them, how to get them, why it's important to get them, and what to do if supervisors refuse to get one to you.
Yep, and we talked about this form.
The form, it's just a backup. It's not like a form on OWCP's website.
You can only find it at my website. It doesn't exist anywhere else.
It's just a little help to guide you on getting your CA-16 and the book. Go to www.breakingowcp.com. The book is $14.95. It's free shipping. Those of you that order tonight, it'll be out in the mailbox by 3 tomorrow. And if you guys want us to represent your local, your unions, whatever, send me a shirt. I'm small. I'll wear it.
So she didn't know I was going to do this, but for the next hour, okay, every book order that comes in between now and 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, is going to be buy one, get one free. So for the next hour, and at 10:01, I'm cutting it off. Don't complain to me, okay? For the next hour, if you buy a book, I'm going to give you a second book for free.
Really?
So what you need to do is go in and just buy the one book. Don't worry. I will put 2 books in the package.
We always do, yeah.
For 1 hour. So go ahead, because what I want you to do is please give it to someone else.
Yes.
And I want everyone to have this book. So if you'll buy one, you can give one to a friend. So for the next hour, starting now until 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, 7 Pacific.
What about mountain folks? The 3-hour difference.
They can do the math. All right.
Okay.
So for the next hour, it's buy one, get one free.
Rosa, you're on it. Go.
And by the way, if you watch this on replay, I'm really sorry. That's for tonight, Wednesday night,
Live.
July 15th. Okay, if you watch this tomorrow, it's not tomorrow, just tonight.
Christine Young said, I've been out of work for a little over 3 months with a broken ankle. I was in a boot for 11 weeks, then went to a brace. Doctor just put me back onto work, full duty, no restrictions. After all this time of being on just sitting restrictions, what if I go back and I'm still in pain?
Yeah, I used to work for a doctor. That's how I learned how to do this. And what he would tell his patients is, I'm sending you to work, but if you have any problems, you've got to come tell me immediately. Because, it's not always an exact science. Doctors can be wrong. And so you need to try to go back to work because the doctor thinks you can. But if you get there and it's not working out for you, you got to immediately call your doctor, and they can make a new 17 with restrictions. if that's necessary.
Okay, so to buy the book, you go to www.breakingowcp.com.
Yep.
And buy it there. Or if you go to Breaking OWCP's Facebook page, you can go ahead. It'll link you right to the part where you buy the book.
Yeah, just go to breakingowcp.com. But you have 1 hour from right now to get buy one, get one free.
Alberta, you said, I ordered a book 1 week ago and never received it.
It'll be there.
It's not us. It's the mail.
Yeah,
we see what the mail handlers are dealing with in the post office.
I put every book in the mail the day within 24 hours.
Oh.
If it's early enough in the day, I do it the same day. Otherwise, I put it in the next day.
So Raymond said, I'm with the NALC USPS section 545.21 of the ELM. If the control office or control point gives a verbal authorization for care, Form CA-16, it should be issued within 48 hours.
Okay, that's your agency. That's
Wow.
why that's agency specific. That's not an OWCP rule.
Yeah.
But thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, that's great because we have our guy and our presidents here that we go to when we ask. So we'll get it too and make sure that we know what we're saying.
But you know what's really good is if you get it within 48 hours, it's still better than never getting it at all. So, all right.
Okay, so a few more things. Don't forget to get our app on the
yeah.
Google Play Store for Android. What is it for iPhone? iTunes. For Apple. So we have that.
The app is called
Federal Injury Centers.
They don't know that.
Oh.
It's
yeah.
not Breaking OWCP. It's Federal Injury Centers.
Federal Injury Centers.
Very helpful. Lots of good information on there.
Yes. The book, www.breakingowcp.com, $14.95, and within the next hour, buy one, get one free.
And follow me on Twitter. I know that sucks. Nobody likes Twitter, and I understand why. But you need it. I've got lots of good information on there for you. I don't waste your time. It's at Fed Injury Center. At Fed Injury Center. Follow me on Twitter.
Also, next week, we're going to be streaming live off of, again, just in case you didn't hear, we will be streaming live off of Instagram as well as Facebook Live. Next week, we will be discussing MMIs and Schedule Award in details.
So tell your friends.
Yeah,
that's going to be a big one.
I'm actually going to ask Eric Blowers to see if he could just hop on, not to be on, but see, if you have questions.
He can answer them in real time.
Yeah. So we're going to make that happen. I'm sure he'd love to do that as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'll be a nice treat, actually, if we can have Eric answering questions.
All right. So.
And any of the other questions that come in after this, we'll get to them. Be patient with us. Okay, there's a lot of you and just a few of us. So, again,
Tish ordered another book.
Oh, great. Buy one, get one. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. For those of you that get the book, thanks for sharing it with your friends. That's the goal. I need to get this in as many people's hands as possible so we can stop this nightmare that so many people go through when they get hurt at work. And we can do it with information. I made the book easy to understand, and as it should be, because OWCP is not easy to understand.
Yeah.
But when you read the book, it is.
Again, if you have a shirt you want me to represent your union, send it to me at P.O. Box 2513, Oldsmar, Florida 34677, and I'll wear it that.
Yeah, we love your
chance.
shirts.
Yeah, like we've had from the mail handlers, NALC, roll carriers. I mean, we have all the T-shirts, but today is Red for Feds. They believe in union solidarity. Local,
and so do we.
Local 558.
Yeah.
Let me just turn around. Want to pull it down?
548.
Oh, I haven't said. Well, there's a 558 as well.
This one's 548.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So.
All right. So thanks a lot for being here
Yes.
tonight. Follow us on Twitter at Fed Injury Center. Get the book, Breaking OWCP. Be back next week and share this with your friends. Let everyone know we're talking about schedule awards. There are very few topics people care more about than money.
We have one more, and this is the last question we'll answer. If you have any more questions, we'll answer them after. If you have any other questions, go call us at 877-787-OWCP. Yes, Red for Feds, Tish. Miss Marino said, I have an accepted strain and sprain, but MRI shows herniated disc in the neck and low back, and the examiner finally accepted my shoulders too. I have a new examiner and told him to check the new conditions one of my doctors added for my neck, and said he has to check my whole medical history and it'll take 2 weeks to update my conditions.
Yeah.
Also, my doctor doesn't want to fill out the CA-17. They only gave a OWCP 5C. I was off work for 2 months after being rear-ended, and shoulder doctor put me back to work with limitations in the 2 months. I talked to my HR and I asked him if my spine doctor put me off work if it was okay to go back, and he said I was okay. I could be off of work for 2 months. By the time DOL accepted my shoulders yet, so I've been filling out CA7 and going to my appointments with neck and low back doctor, but my DOL nurse says those forms, OWCP 5C, are not filled out right because they said no, and I have a 2A and 2B section. They either write sedentary limitation, yes, and number of hours, but it's contradicting when it says no other questions. What should she do?
That was a lot of stuff.
Yeah. You know
Look,
what?
Hold on, no. I have an answer that's not going to be the answer that your doctor will like. Your doctor needs to fill out the CA-17, okay? The OWC, it's so dumb. The 5C form is so much more complicated than a 17 anyways. It takes a lot more time. And the doctor can bill for the CA-17, so they fill the form out and they get paid like $75 to fill out a piece of paper. Maybe they don't know that, okay? But let them know they can get paid to fill out the form. They can get paid once a week to fill out the form. They shouldn't go crazy filling out forms. But they need to fill that out. And if your diagnoses aren't approved above a strain for your neck and back, they need to write a diagnosis expansion report. But if they won't fill out a 17, they likely don't want to do a narrative report either. So you may be stuck. I'm going to get into this, and we'll give you some more information after the video, because that was a really in-depth message. But thanks for sending it.
Christina, thank you for ordering the book. So guys, get your book. He just sprung this 1 hour.
You have 53 more minutes. I'm cutting it off.
1 hour, buy one, get one. And if you already bought one and you still want another one, here's your opportunity to get another one again.
But give it to a friend. Don't hoard the books to yourself. You only need one copy for you.
Yeah, send me some
And this goes for
t-shirts.
unions too, by the way. If a union president wants to buy 20 books, I'll give you 40.
Yes.
So for the next hour, okay? So let's get it done.
Buy a bulk, get another bulk free.
All right. So
All right,
thanks for
guys.
being here tonight.
Thank you. We will see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.